Hello guys, Jef V here from Squadron. A while back we released the Hannebu II military version, German's flying saucer, and since it was very successful and we sold out pretty quickly, we decided to do a second version, and this time we opted for a civilian rendition. Now if you want to watch these previous build or the inbox review, go to Squadron TV and you can see those videos there. Meanwhile, as you can see on my table here, I already built it and primed it. So in this chapter we're going to tackle painting it, and it's all going to be in metal. So let's get at it. So okay guys, the first thing we're going to do is to pre-shade the whole model here. As you can see, I put some primer on there. It doesn't really matter what kind of primer. In this case I used the Tamiya one, the spray can. As I mentioned before in the intro, the whole saucer is going to be in an aluminum color or a silver color. There's going to be some color nuances. I'm going to mask a couple of panels just to give it a little bit of a variation in different kind of metals. But before we do that, we want to break the monotony of the gray area here, and we're doing that by outlining or at least emphasizing some of the panel lines. And I did the bottom already just to give you an idea what I'm going to do. So I'll show you this here. You really don't have to be all that careful because eventually everything is going to be painted over with silver or aluminum. But just to get the effect that the aluminum or the silver, there's going to be some see-through shadowing. And that's the effect you want to get. You want to break the monotony, you want to break the new look. To help that a little, you do that with pre-shading it. And I use a Vallejo primer black, but you can use any black you have. You can use even enamel. It doesn't really matter. The pre-shading, it doesn't really matter what kind of color you use or what kind of brand you use. Also afterwards, like I said, we're going to do it in an aluminum. I selected a few colors. I'll point it out more when we get more and more into the project. I'll describe more how we're using these Vallejo acrylic metal colors. I selected about 4. I can also mix and match these. If I think that one panel needs to be darker or lighter, I can always mix two and get some different shades. Now let's start with at least pre-shade the upper dome here, and get that out of the way, and then we can start with applying all kind of metallics. First of all, let me get a little cup. Again, don't mix too much, just use a little bit of black paint in there. As you can see, my spout is clogged up. Here we go, just a little bit. Add some airbrush thinner in this case, or whatever you have handy, but I like to use the Vallejo thinner with their paints. Then I'm absolutely sure it's going to work, because sometimes when you use another brand or an off brand or even distilled water, it will work, but give me a safer feeling to use what they provided. You can make it pretty thin. It doesn't really have to be very solid. It just needs to emphasize the outlines of the panels. I'll put this in my airbrush. For this purpose I use the Iwata, my old HPC plus Iwata, and the pressure I'm going to use is about between 15 and 20 psi. Let's get to it. Again, you don't have to be careful. The main thing is that you at least emphasize where the panel lines are. I apologize for the noise of my compressor. As you can see, the transition between the top platform and the top bunker, I would like to maybe add a little bit more black to it. That will eventually benefit the shadowing effect we want to accomplish. And again, don't feel bad if you think you didn't do it right. It's all going to be covered by metallic anyway, or metallic colors. I do it pretty sloppy. Here on the front here where you see all the detail, you can add some extra black there. Again, it's all for shadowing purposes and weathering. I think it's about right. Okay, as you can see, we added the black, and I think it's going to look really nice once we start covering it with aluminum. Next I'm going to try first the dark aluminum. This is going to be my base color. I never used this color before, so if I see that it's too dark, I might switch to something else. But for now, I think this is the best matching color that I can think of in trying to create like a flying saucer that's been out there in space for the longest time, that has all the weathering that's going on in space. Let's try the Vallejo dark aluminum and see how that goes. Same thing, try to put some in a little cup. The dark aluminum might be a little tad too dark, so I'm going to add some dull aluminum with it. Probably some 50%. And again, this is just all personal preference. You might even go with chrome if you like that, but I think this is more closer to the truth. And once the base color is done, then we're gonna go over it with lighter panels or even darker panels. It all depends, but we have to cover the whole thing with a base coat. I used dark aluminum mixed with about 50% of dull aluminum. So let's see how that goes. Just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna start with the bottom part. See, I have a little tiny bit of overspray. From what I can see, that's the right color combination for the base coat. Also, a good thing to know is that the Vallejo metal colors don't need any thinner. It's thin enough. So I think we got that done. We can put that on the side and then do the top. See, accidents happen. I just spilled some of the silver here. It's always good to put the cap on your dry brush. I think we're about done with this. I don't want to overdo it because again there's going to be some more colors and some more weathering going on, but so far it looks pretty good. Another thing I want to emphasize that the color Vallejo acrylics, they're really smooth, and don't panic when you see that it looks like a little dusty or something when you apply the paint, but after a couple of minutes it will all smoothen out. Other than that, it covers also real well, as you can tell. You hardly can see anything anymore what I did with the pre-shading, but so far it's going very well. I'm very happy. Now I have to let this dry. In the meantime, you can prepare like small stuff like I will do in a minute, like the landing gear doors or whatever extras you have, but this needs to dry at least for 24 hours so we can mask it without any problem, and then we can resume with painting all the small details. You can tell we have a lot to do here. As you can tell, I'm not really afraid to get some paint on my fingers. It will all wash off with water. I just want to get it over with. So, okay guys, as you can see, I got it pretty well covered. You can see the color nuances here and there from the pre-shading I did with the black. Even the place I spilled here looks pretty good when I dabbed it, so I might do something with that later on. Maybe I can dab some of the aluminum to get special effects, but for now I'm gonna put it away for at least 24 hours, and then tomorrow we can start masking, and then we can put some other colors on there. We're gonna mix some aluminums with each other. We're gonna have some gunmetal in the mix. Also, there's gonna be a red band around it. There's gonna be some black and white kind of panels going on. So I'm very excited about it right now. Everything looks good. The paint worked perfectly. Very good replacement, because I'm used to the Alclad, which is still okay, number one as far as lacquers is concerned. But the Vallejo, for being an acrylic paint and a metal paint, they absolutely deserve a kudos for the quality of the paint. It looks just like it's painted with Alclad. So again, next time, masking time, we can do some other experiments with this. Looks pretty good. If you like what we have to say and you want to see more of this, please subscribe to Squadron TV, or make your friends subscribe, or even your puppy. You can also follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.